Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about Gen V again and how it continues to go even woker than previous episodes. I just finished watching the last episode, which was episode 5, and oh my god, bro. Oh man, the transgender fucking agenda was hardcore in this episode. Like, so unnecessary, so fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it was just insane. Like, it was just pushing and pushing and pushing. And the fucked up part is, right, like, you compare it to the past 4 episodes that actually had natural progression in them. And they had that main storyline where you actually continued to progress forward and forward with that storyline. This episode had none of that. It was like, I would say a good 95% filler. Almost no progression of the actual main storyline took place in this episode, outside of maybe like one scene. And the rest was all just like basically a bunch of people walking around not understanding how they were brain wiped, basically, and then trying to figure out why they lost their memories and shit like that. So I would say overall, comparing to the last 4 episodes, this was the weakest one of the season so far, honestly. It was the weakest one of the season. It was the one that pushed the trans crap the most. It was just ridiculous what it was, dude. And that's the thing, right? And that's the whole thing of the Jordan character in general. Like, you basically have a dude who was born a male in this universe, as a baby was injected with the actual serum to make you a superhuman is what it would be. And now, growing up, whatever it was, wherever puberty or whatever it was there, now they can transform into a chick is what it is. And then, of course, they keep pushing the they, them shit and the fucking, he, she, they, them. And that's what they said multiple times in the thing. They're like, oh, yeah, do you like them? Do you like them? Do you like all this bullshit like that? And then it's like, they had a whole scene where it was Jordan and the guy who's supposed to be the RA, which is a dude with glasses and a hat. And then he's all invisible. He's like translucent or whatever. Talking about gender being a construct and stuff like that. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. No, it is not. No, it is fucking not, you clown ass bitches in Hollywood. Gender is a defined fucking thing. You're either male or female, and it's that simple, bro. It's not a fucking construct. It's not some fucking leftist bullshit science you want to make up with. It's an actual fucking thing in this nation, dude. So, yeah, I'm getting real sick and tired of the woke shit personally, and I'm debating if I want to watch the rest of the season or not, just based on that crap alone. That being said, like, this is the big issue. Like, I see, like, there's a good, like, that's the thing. I continue to see there was a good storyline in it, and it's basically the Emma Sam storyline. But yet, they keep pushing all this outside retarded bullshit. That makes no sense. And actually, that's the one thing we did learn with this episode currently. Spoiler alert. The doctor guy who was almost killed by Sam in the last episode, that dude is now admitted that he's basically using that underground facility and stuff like that to do experiments on the superhuman people is what it is, to make basically a kill virus to kill them eventually, which makes sense logically. It would make a lot of sense actually, especially when you got, people like Homelander in this universe that is literally fucking basically Superman with next to no invulnerability at all. So yeah, it would make sense a hell of a lot that you'd want to have, some kind of a thing where you could basically take this dude out if you needed to, if that'd be the case. That was the one thing that did bother me with the actual main boy storyline too, for that matter, because when you look at Homelander, you look at Black Noir, in the actual comics that this stuff is based off of, Black Noir was supposed to be just a more powerful version of Homelander. He was a clone of Homelander specifically. That's why he was under that black mask is what it was. And that's actually how I want to say it's how the series ended, or how like the majority of the series ended in that universe then, was literally Homelander fighting his clone version as Black Noir is what it was, who was much more powerful than him. And it was basically the two of them essentially killing each other then. And yeah. But of course in this, version now for TV and stuff, they got to, minority characters up like usual is what it is there. And of course they made Black Noir a black dude now that has some fucking peanut allergy, which is just stupid as fuck in general. So if nothing else, like what they should have done with that whole thing was they actually should have made that character a minority, but just made him look exactly like Anthony Starr is what it is. but as a black dude, so it'd be like Robert Downey Jr., you know, faking to be a black guy when it is there. Like, that would have been fucking hilarious, honestly, dude. So I could have totally seen them doing that shit, actually, where it was like some DNA swap or whatever the case be, and it was just like Black Homelander under the Black Noir mask. That would have been fucking funny. That being said, I can't wait till they do the new season of The Boys, honestly. That should be really good when it comes out. This, like I said, this Gen V series, like, there's definitely bits and pieces of it that are very, very good. But the problem is that, again, you're adding in all this woke filler, whether it be, you know, like I said, with previous episodes, you got all the misandry and misogyny and stuff like that going on there, which is more misandry than misogyny, if anything else, then. Because there's like a little bit of misogyny in it, but then there's like, you know, 2, 3, 4 times as much misandry is what it is, which would be obviously man hate, compared to misogyny, which is essentially woman hate. And then you have, just like everything else, like the trans agenda legitimately is like pretty much continue on point in this episode. Really, I think that honestly of everything, that was the most in your face in episode 5 here was the whole trans agenda push by GLAAD, etc. there. And then you had, you know, like I said before, we had the whole, you know, eating disorder thing, and that was kind of its own thing there. That being said, I think it's interesting because then we had, you know, obviously in the last episode, you got Big Emma, where this chick basically went all, you know, huge giant and stuff like that. And then this episode kind of continued on with that storyline, and actually everybody's liking her now because she was huge at the time. And one thing I thought was funny, actually, and I will give them this one that I thought was pretty good. So you basically have a chick who is essentially giant-ish anyway. Like, she wasn't like giant, like, you know, like fucking like Giant Man, where you could be like 50 stories tall, but she was probably like, I don't know, maybe like 2.5, 3 stories tall, because she was big. Like in the episode, they showed her as still big and stuff like that, literally in a pool. One thing that does bother me about this series too, by the way, if you're going to be on a streaming service where you can have nudity and you're willing to do nudity with random characters, fucking have every female on the show sign at least one thing into a contract where they have to do at least one nude scene for every fucking season they're part of, dude. Because seriously, you had the opportunity to do it with that Jordan character, you had the opportunity to do it with Marie's character, and you had the opportunity to do it with Emma's character in this episode, and you fucking failed hard, Gen V. And that's the thing. I really, 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 really want to see at least 2 or 3 of those chicks topless right now. That being Emma and Jordan, obviously. Marie, to a lesser extent, yes, but then again, it's the whole thing there. Like, she looks like she's not bad, honestly, but her tits are kind of small is what it is, compared to, obviously, Emma, that is pretty stacked, it seems like, and then Jordan, who's semi in the middle there. But anyway, yeah, the entire point is, though, every single one of those actresses should have been signing a thing where they had to do at least one nude scene in this season or whatever then. And it's bullshit because you show like some BS side boob and stuff like that, but yet, well, then you're willing to show like some fucked up shit where you have some dude like vibrating some chick's snatch, essentially. Like, obviously you're not going to show like, you know, full up front hand and puss or whatever it is, but like, you know, it is what it is on that one. And then when you realize what's actually, like, I realize now, because there is the one, the scene where the guy's like getting hit in the face, it looks like water and stuff, and now when you realize what it actually is, it's like, yeah, that's kind of disgusting, honestly, now I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to give that away what it actually was, but, you know, I think y'all can assume what it was. It was kind of like the throwing rope scene from the last season of The Boys. Which, by the way, was legitimately the most disgusting fucking scene in that entire series. Like, you know, obviously there's some gore that's pretty gross and stuff like that, but like, yeah, pretty sure some dude fucking like shooting like man fucking entire body loads at that point. It's like, nah, man, that shit is just fucked up in general. Like, that is just not right. And this whole thing right here, like I said, was also not right to a lesser extent. But yeah, that being said, though, the entire point that I was going to mention though with Emma was, I thought it was cute though because her being like her being like a giant sized or whatever. Then they had her drinking an entire keg, is what it was, with like was a beer can. So I did appreciate that part of it. I thought that was kind of funny. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that character, honestly, with the way that her story is and stuff like that, her being like bulimic to either get small or, you know, overeat to get big and stuff like that, and obviously have to, again, purge out to go back to normal size, and that's what it is. I think she's the best character in the series, honestly. And the storyline that they have going right now with her and Sam is legitimately the best storyline of this entire season, of this entire show right now. But again, they're sort of throwing that to the side, and it probably is because it's two white people, honestly, would be my guess. And then you're throwing in all these minority characters and these random ass woke ass storylines with them, whether it be the trans thing with the Jordan character, whether it be the fucking just all kinds of weird shit there. And it's just stupid, man. That being said, the Kate girl in this series, who has like, I think it's like a push power or something like that's what they called it. I'm pretty sure eventually, either by the first season finale here or sometime in season 2, she's going to die in this season. It's either going to be this season or next season. She's going to die of natural causes, what it'll be, because her overexerting herself. They talked about it basically being embolisms in her head and stuff like that because of that power. And when you see her eyes starting to go red now and her like nose and her mouth and stuff like that throughout the episodes now, I definitely think she's going to kill herself eventually. She's going to have like an embolism or something pop in her head at some point here in the future in one of these episodes for this season or next season. So I wouldn't be surprised by it at all. And it becomes a whole thing of like, it's whatever at that point. Because honestly, like, if we're going to rank characters of, you know, good character versus bad character, she is probably the worst character in this entire series right now, dude. Because honestly, it was her character that did a lot of the misogynistic shit is what it is here. To be all fucking man-hating shit like that. And then, you know, she, like, honestly, she really doesn't bring much to the table, is what it is. And even when we found out in this last episode, like, it was basically her that was pushing everybody and making them forget shit, so. Yeah, that being said, I think there's definitely good parts of the series, and I think it'll be very interesting to see exactly where they progress towards the season finale in the show. Because I'm not sure if it's 8 episodes or 10 episodes right now that we have for this. In fact, I'm going to go check if it's 3 more or not here. So I want to say it's at least 8, but it might be 10. Let's see. Gen V. Okay, it is 8, so it'll be November 3rd is when this finishes off. So it'll be next week, the following week, and the week after then. So, but yeah, definitely Lizzie Broadway, the chick who plays Emma, is legitimately the hottest chick in the show, I think, personally. Good. Right there, this girl right here. Yeah, she is a smoking hot blonde, man. Like, she's definitely the hottest in the series. And then I would say, honestly, if we're going to go from that perspective of things, then you go to, just trying to find a, actually, I'm not so sure. It's either her or it's that London Thor chick who plays the female version of Jordan. Because they're definitely both in that top 2 for sure. London Thor, obviously, right there. This girl, honestly, I would say this chick has much prettier eyes, if we're going to be serious. Like, she has, like, that really, really, really brown eyes. And, yeah, she's definitely hot as fuck. So, I would say it's either her or it's, Emma then. But, yeah, either way, like, that's what I'm saying. They had the perfect opportunity multiple times, people, to have this chick topless, to have that Emma girl topless, to have them all topless, man. And you fucking failed hard, people. And then, of course, this is the guy that plays the male version of Jordan right there. Which that dude looks like a gay guy. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, man. Like that dude looks like he wants to be a they them. Honestly, so. But yeah, it's just funny. But not seriously though. If we're gonna compare like actress versus actor, there, London Thor, the chick that plays Jordan, is a much better actor / actress than that Derek guy that plays the male version. And like, not to knock him or anything, dude, but like, yeah, you're just not as good, man. Like, you're just not as good of a character, not as good of a fucking actor, I think is what it is there. So, because that's the thing. Even in this episode, this 5th episode and stuff, it was mostly him doing the Jordan role for the most part. And I'm just like, bring back the chick, man. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, dude. Like, bring back the female version of y'all, is what it is. So, which does make me wonder. I talked about this, I think, with Corey and a couple other people in the last week or so. It does make me wonder when it comes to Jordan's character, the fact that they can ship between male and female, if they could actually get pregnant as a female and maintain pregnancy in that universe, if they shifted then or not, or if it would be something where if they would get pregnant as a female, if it would just like lock them into that form for like X amount of months, and is what it would be then. That would be an interesting storyline, I think, to do with that whole thing then. Although that being said, they'd probably go some weird shit where it'd be dude would shift back to dude or whatever the case be, and it'd be some pregnant man or whatever that'd be the case then. Which I would think, honestly, if that be the case, given the fact that, you know, dudes don't actually have a uterus is what it is, then you'd actually just have a situation there where it would immediately abort that child is what it is, and you would have like some kind of fucked up, you know, like alienist, it would be almost like the, what do you call that thing now? The original Alien movie where it was like the chest burster thing or whatever, just like popping out the guy's stomach or some shit like that. I don't think they go that far though, because, you know, given the fact they probably couldn't is what it would be then. Just like in this last episode here with everything going on, you had Sam basically kill a bunch of dudes that were the military guys trying to find him. But of course they couldn't show him basically ripping human beings apart. So what did they do? They had him and all of them become like these retarded ass puppets, and he was just like ripping puppets apart, and it was just like glitter shit like flying out, which is obviously their blood is what it was. And then of course they did like one little end scene there where it was basically just a bunch of dead bodies sitting all around, you know, gore and everything else there everywhere. So I thought that was one of the dumbest things, honestly. And again, it makes sense to do it shit like that though, because it's ways you can get around censorship and stuff like that, if you will. But at the same time, it's like, or you could just, I don't know, not have that fucking entire thing where you have a dude ripping like 20 guys apart is what it is. So, yeah. That being said, like, to me on that one, that would almost be self-preservation though, because obviously you're not trying to have them take you back to the facilities is what it is, because they're going to torture you there is what it would be then. So to me, that would definitely be a situation there of like, that kid has a right to defend himself versus all these fucking people is what it is. Secondly, here's my thing about that, right? If you really believe that this dude is that fucking dangerous and he has superhuman abilities, specifically it seems like super strength and then some various like invulnerability stuff, whatever the case be, why the fuck would you be sending human beings who have families with guns to go collect this guy and not simply sending a small squadron of actual superpowered beings to take this motherfucker down? Like, I get not wanting to have like it be all like publicized and everything else like that or whatever, dude. But like at the same time, you can't honestly tell me that there is not a whole Black Ops unit in that universe that you could use to basically take this dude out, or at least, you know, subdue him, whatever the case be, to where you could take him back to the facility and stuff like that. Like, it just seems like really retarded in general. And that's what I'm saying. This goes back kind of like to where we have the, you know, Marvel universe and stuff like that, where you have, I'm trying to think what it was now. It was X Factor, I believe was what it was there. The old cable led group that in the last few years there has now become like some Black Ops thing is what it is there in the Marvel universe. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't tell me you wouldn't have like a squad like that where it would be like some like unit of people there in the boys universe, where it would be something like an X-Men type of team or whatever the case be, where you just have them like have the abilities to take this dude down, is what it is, and subdue his ass to get them back under wraps, is what it be then. So yeah, definitely feels very iffy at best, I guess is what I'd say. And it seems kind of stupid to me too that you would have like the way they did this whole storyline where you had, people's minds being wiped and stuff like that. It's like, why would you do shit like that when you could just as easily, they were in a position where they were getting this kid under control. Why would you not just leave them be and allow them to basically help him, if nothing else, help him back to your facility? Like, obviously, they probably wouldn't do that because of the fact that, you'd have it be known now that you're a bunch of scumbags and stuff like that in the universe. But that being said, at the same time, it's like, dude, it's fucking dumb not to use your resources, what it is there. So, but yeah, like I said, I think it's interesting that the one thing that they let out in the little 3 to 5% of the actual progression of the main storyline there in this episode was basically that they were creating some kind of virus, keeping people under control and under wraps and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, so, because obviously we saw trackers in this episode too, and I'm like, okay, so was that in the trackers, or was it something where you're just tracking them to know where they're at to then inject them later on with something, is what it would be then. So I don't know. It seems very interesting. And of course, it did show in this episode too, for that matter, that Marie chick doesn't actually have to, cut herself and stuff like that to use her powers anymore, where she can just burst some shit out of herself, is what it would be then. So my thinking on that one is yeah, her entire power set is weird because of the fact that it's if you can control blood in the bodies, why would you ever cut yourself to control your own when you could easily just use your hands and shit like that and just have somebody bleed internally or something like that, is what it is then. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the last 3 episodes here, though, is what it is. Because like I said, when we're over halfway in now, and we got literally the 5th episode being the worst one of all of them right now, just for, lack of any real progression in the storylines itself there. And just a shitload of filler and stuff like that. It's yeah, it makes you wonder, what are we going to do with the other episodes then? It is a weird, I mean, it's from the Boys universe, so it's one of those situations where it's if you like the Boys, you might like this, but then again, like I said, it's a lot of woke shit involved in it that doesn't need to be there, like the whole trans agenda push, the whole fucking, they're pushing eating disorders as if they're should be mainstream basically to some extent, but in the same vein of things, it's almost like they're pushing it forward to basically be yes, this exists, this is why we should be fighting against this kind of thing, or whatever the case be. So it's really weird in that one. That one might be the only storyline that actually isn't really woke, but it's kind of like that Terminal-ish series where it was sort of, shining a light on something that needs to be addressed, but they're not doing a very good job of addressing as what would be here in this situation. So if that makes any sense. And then, like I said, the misandry, the misogyny, all stuff like that, like I mentioned before in one of these episodes. So anywho, but yeah, it's definitely a very, it's one of those shows I'm about to go back when it's all said and done in a couple weeks here and probably just watch the whole thing from first episode to last episode in one roughly 8-hour sitting is what it'll be then. Because it'll probably be more about 7 hours, give or take, because I think it's about 45, 47-minute episodes, something like that. So it'll be about 7.5 hours, give or take, then probably. So, but yeah, like I said, the whole thing just feels very they could do a lot more, and they're choosing to basically stretch out shit that doesn't need to be stretched out, is what it is. And I'm wondering if that's what it is. Maybe it's kind of like that. I'm trying to think what that one series is called. They only got one season on Netflix a while ago. V Wars, that's what it was. The vampire series where you looked at it and you saw there was several episodes here with that Ian Somerhalder guy's character in that series where you could tell this is obviously the main storyline of the show. And then they figured out about halfway through or so, give or take. So it was about 5-6 episodes in. They're oh shit, we don't have enough material here for 8 episodes. So they just sort of threw a secondary storyline in there that involved that Laura Vandervoot actress chick. And there was really no crossover between the two characters in that show until the very end. and you had her basically show up like halfway through, and it just starts making no fucking sense at all. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, the main storyline over here is what makes sense. This doesn't make any sense at all, kind of thing. And I feel like this is kind of where they're at with this Gen V series, where it's like they knew they had enough for like 4 or 5 episodes of like good material. And then it was basically like, okay, well, we got to stretch this out to 8. So it's like, okay, well, what can we add in here that's like woke bullshit? And it's like, okay, just start throwing shit against the wall. And that's what they did, basically. Actually, I saw a great video the other day. It was on, I think, Twitter or something like that. And it was how the media works. And it was some dude in like an office building who just had this giant purple dildo that was like that big or whatever, and was just like flinging it against the wall, because it eventually would like go to the base part of it or whatever, and it would like stick against the wall and something. And it was him like throwing it at like random shit, and it was basically like, I forget, it was like Vietnamese or Cambodia or something like that, like Vietnam, Cambodia, something like that. And then it was drug pushers and something else. And it was basically, then you had like Vice News or something like that come out with like some random thing of like Cambodian trans drug pushers or something like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, that actually makes perfect sense. That's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it feels like half the time with these fucking Hollywood writers and stuff like that, dude. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, would it be better off if we actually just had AI write these fucking shows half the time? And I almost think it would be in some cases. Because at least then you might have like a decent storyline without all kinds of woke bullshit in it then. So, anyway. That being said, I guess South Park is doing another special here pretty soon where they're doing a minority race swapping of a bunch of different characters in the show. Like Cartman, etc. is now a black chick. So, yeah. And obviously it's just, Trey Parker and Matt Stone just showing the stupidity of Hollywood is what it is these days, where they keep race swapping everybody. And that's the thing, right? Like, you never really see much whitewashing anymore. It's always black, brown, whatever washing of like white characters in most cases. Like we had with Little Mermaid most recently there, where it was, you had a actual ginger mermaid that was turned into a fucking black chick for no reason at all. And then you had like one of the most annoying people of all time become that Scuttle character. And oh my God, bro, like, I never actually watched that movie. I refused to watch it, but I saw like a little clip of like one of the stupid songs they put in it, and holy shit. I'm trying to think of what that chick's name is. It's like Anna Wafta or something like that. Like, I actively wanted to beat the fuck out of that chick, honestly, dude. Like, just based on that stupid ass song that she was portraying that fucking character of like a dumbass bird. And it's like, you are fucking annoying as shit, bitch. Fuck you. So, anyway. Yeah, that being said, though, like I said, overall, I think there's definitely elements of a good series here with Gen V. The problem is that, again, it's the writers stretching out, I think, what should have been a smaller set of story into a larger set of story by just adding in, like, random leftist bullshit into it that doesn't need to be there to begin with. So, it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens with the rest of this season in the next 3 weeks here. But other than that, I'll keep you guys updated. I'll debate if I do another one of these like week to week now or not. It depends on how, again, woke it goes. If that'd be the case, like if it keeps going woker and woker and woker, I might have to just because of that alone, just to keep my own sanity is what it is. But at the same time, it might just be a situation there where it's me just doing an overall review in like 3 weeks or something of the series. So, but yeah, that being said, I do want to apologize for not doing Freedom Friday yesterday. As I said with that 2-minute or so update on the channel. I woke up yesterday afternoon. I was taking a nap. Woke up yesterday afternoon, and I literally had, I don't know what the fuck was going on with my diverticulosis or what was happening there, but like, it just felt like somebody was grabbing onto my stomach and just fucking clenching as hard as possible to the point where I was almost doubled over in pain is what it was. So, yeah, and that was going on when I shot that couple minute update, and then it was for another about hour and a half, 2 hours then. I felt that exact same way for the next couple hours then. And eventually then I just ended up nodding off in this chair for like 2-3 hours last night. Woke up, was going to watch NEA's Trigger Time last night, and then ended up being like, do I watch it and comment, or do I just say fuck it and go back to sleep? And I just literally shut my laptop and went back to sleep for like another 3 hours, is what it was then. So, yeah. And I felt better when I got up then, and it was like a whole thing, and I don't know. I definitely think there's a lot of bad shit going on internally with me currently. It all has to do with the whole, colon cancer years ago. Ever since I did that surgery, I haven't felt right, honestly. And then, of course, there's been a bunch of other fallout since then with the whole, diver stuff and whatnot. So, I don't know. That might have been what it was, honestly. It might have been something got trapped in there and it just hit me right in the weird track and it just kind of crippled me, is what it was then. Not a good thing, though, man. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm feeling better now, though, thankfully. Well, not all the way, but like I'd say about 85% better is what it is right now. So we will do, as long as I am awake for it, in about 14 hours or so, give or take, we will be doing Stand Your Ground Saturday #2 tonight after NEA's Saturday chat. So anyway, but that being said, yeah, I heard about them doing away with the whole gun violence thing. I don't know if it'll go anywhere or not. That's the problem again. If you don't have like full control of something, you're basically just writing feel good legislation. It's just like the same thing they do every fucking time with their minority party and stuff like that. And they're just like, oh, let's push forward a Hearing Protection Act or a fucking nationwide stand your ground or something like that, or nationwide constitutional carry, knowing it's never going to fucking pass. So the fact that that douchebag isn't in federal prison right now for a bunch of crimes is everything wrong with this country, honestly. Him and Manuel Oliver, who was one of the dads whose son was killed at Parkland there, both of them should be in a federal prison cell right now because they both interrupted federal hearings on various stuff. And it's a felony charge is what they did, honestly. But yet they were never arrested for it, which is a bunch of BS entirely. Because you know damn well, if it had been you, I, or anybody else out there doing that same fucking thing, we would have been in handcuffs in the fucking random cell at the Capitol there, waiting to be charged, just like the whole January 6th fucking political prisoners are right now, is what it is. And then, of course, you got that stupid cunt Sonny Houston yesterday talking about trying to compare Hamas to the Proud Boys. And it's like, dude, that entire group, Proud Boys group, just needs to sue the fuck out of that cunt, needs to sue the fuck out of ABC, and needs to sue the fuck out of The View and put them all into fucking bankruptcy right now for that shit. Because that is 100% slander and defamation of character across the damn board right now. So, anyway. But as far as I know, nothing happened yesterday with the, well, I mean, some things happened overseas yesterday with the whole day of jihad terror and stuff like that, but not much of anything really, from my understanding, happened outside of like one or two people getting killed. Because again, you're not going to fuck around in America and find out in most major cities or most major states in this country that are red leaning. So I don't know. I really haven't checked the news, so I'm not really sure exactly what it was. And then, of course, I do want to mention this, though, which I thought was kind of a slap in the face to Americans in general. You had that idiot, Brian Mast, who, instead of actually calling for the immediate removal of Rashada Tlaib from office, instead, what does his dumbass do? Motherfucker wears an IDF uniform to the U.S. Capitol. Like, what a slap in the face, dude. Like, I get you were part of the fucking Israeli military at some point, dude, but, like, even still, you would have been better off to just simply grow a pair of goddamn balls instead of doing some fucking stupid-ass little grandstanding fucking bullshit right here, dude. You would have been much smarter off to actually sit there and write up articles of removal of Tlaib and other people from office right now. All the squad people is what it is there. It is raining again right now. I just realized that. Looked outside. It's been doing that off and on for like the last day or so. It's only like 50, but it feels like it's about 30. because of that rain and shit. That being said, hopefully the wall gets filled up today. I'm gonna take a shower here in a couple hours, go from there basically, and yeah, it is what it is. But that being said, I'm gonna give an update on the game too. By the way, that I've been playing recently. So checked everything this morning. We retook one of our previously held territories, is what it was. And then I figured out that we basically have enough to do 2 more that would get us like another 1,000 prosperity points for the season, but we'd still be like 1,000 under everybody else then. So it's either going to be one of these things where we can get maybe some base points and stuff like that, and maybe just barely get second place. But most likely, even if we take all the camps and everything else we could take right now, unless we would knock second place out of one of their comms right now, I don't think we're going to take second. I think we're going to take third, which sucks ass. It is what it is, man. Like I said, I think we just need to make better alliances in the future is what it is there. And we had the ability to do that, honestly, this season. We could have had a 3-on-1. And it wasn't us. It was the leadership of this fucking region chose poorly and fucked us all over is what it was then. So 100% blame them people is what it is there. For choosing to be like, oh, let's align with these people that don't do a damn thing to help us this season. And then meanwhile, they wonder why we're taking third now is what it is. So fucking annoying. So anyway. Yep, and that's what it is. It's a bunch of man children is what it is in most cases. So let me go back up here real quick. Huh. 59-48, 59-49. Okay. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on here in Ohio too, by the way, at a state level right now. They're introducing some interesting legend, may or may not be worthwhile. Specifically, I do want to talk about this for a sec. So here's an interesting one to me, and this is a fact, by the way. I have a bunch of rhinos and Democrats in the state of Ohio right now trying to do away with our death penalty at a state level, which is fucking stupid. We need those, and we also need to have like stuff added to is what it is for different methods. So they're trying to do away with that, and then on the flip side of things, you then have shit like this right here. House Bill 111, increased sentence range for third-degree felony domestic violence. Or you could just, I don't know, retain the fucking death penalty. And the fact there's like 2 Democrats on this too is even more hilarious. And it's funny because it's, who is it? It's Tabby Golonsky, who is a BLM terrorist in the state. And it's that fucking pedophile, Daniel Troy, who's an anti-gun sack of shit. Because again, why would he be part of this? Oh yeah, that's right, because he's trying to take away people's gun rights again. Again, shocker. Fucking anti-gun douchebag trying to throw people's gun rights out the window is what it is there. And of course, you got Jean Schmidt as part of this. She's the bitch who's trying to do with death penalty at the most, is what it is here. So it's very interesting. And they introduced legislation the other day to regard sale of used catalytic converters to basically prove you took them legally, is what it was there. What was the other one I was looking at the other day? Oh yeah, this is a weird one. House Joint Resolution 5 proposing to enact Section 22 of Article 1 of the Ohio State, Constitution of the State of Ohio to establish a constitutional right to hunt and fish, which you would think if you're going to do that as a piece of legislation, you would, I don't know, do away with the fees of licensing or just do away with licensing entirely in this state. But having read over that already, that's not what they're doing is what it is. It's just basically saying you have a right to hunt and fish unless it's on private property and it doesn't, and you can't break trespassing laws and stuff like that is what it would be essentially. And it's like, okay, so what does this really do then? Anything at all? Like other than that? Because I'm going to call people up here in the next couple of days. It'll be here when they go back into session on Monday and be like, bro, like, what the fuck does this really do? Is this just feel good legislation? Or are you actually going to do something here where it's going to be licensing fees taken away and stuff like that? Because that's the thing with me right now. You know, I'd like to go bag a deer or two this season, honestly. I'm not going to pay fucking $30-something per damn deer tag is what it is, dude, because I don't have that kind of money sitting around. I shouldn't have to pay $50-something to go buy a fucking hunting license in the state of Ohio and a single deer tag just to have a deer in my damn freezer is what it is. It should be my right to go out there and hunt no matter where the fuck I am in the state of Ohio. Take a damn deer, not have to piss away a bunch of money on a damn deer tag, and it just be a free fucking thing is what it is then, as a resident. Because that's the thing. You have multiple states, or sorry, not multiple states. You have multiple counties within the state right now where they have now upped the shit to 4 deer per year in those counties, and then specifically Franklin County, Hamilton County, and Cuyahoga County, which is obviously Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, respectively, because there is so much deer overpopulation in these counties, is what it is, because there's all major cities that are part of, is what it is there. And instead of actually having people go out there and hunt them down, is what it is, what do? Oh, let's introduce some shit to the fucking thing to just sterilize the fucking deer. Because that's the Democrat fucking motto, dude. It's mass sterilization of an entire species of something that in a generation or two is going to be gone entirely now because you've now sterilized their ability to reproduce ever again. And it makes sense when you look at these same people being the issue 1 backers and stuff like that for mass murder in the womb is what it is there. So... it's about 350. No, I have no idea. I did see that. I finally did see that video then because I remember watching on Honda's chat, but I couldn't really tell what was going on there because it was not big enough for me. But I was able to watch the video the other day, and yeah, there's definitely some shit walking around fucking Colorado there. I'm not sure what the hell it is, honestly. Could be a dude in a ghillie suit. It could be an actual Bigfoot for that matter. Either way, it's some creepy shit either way. So, but actually, I'm surprised they haven't done that yet in this Gen V series. Is introduce some kind of a Bigfoot character or something, or like a Yeti / Sasquatch or something like that. Because they are doing like little, like that was one thing I did like about this last episode. They actually did show some other powers and stuff like that, like just randomly. But at the same time, it's like some of them are useless and some of them are very cool. And it's like, okay, you know, that's cool. This guy can breathe fire out of his mouth and stuff like that. But how does he control that? Then is what it is. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an actual Bigfoot. You know, I was actually it was interesting when I was halfway nodding off last night. I was watching that Unexplained show with William Shatner, and they were actually talking about the Hollow Earth theory and stuff like that, and how you possibly have like a Garden of Eden in the actual Earth of this world is what it is, and it would be like some crazy ass like internal thing where you essentially had like this garden, and then it was its own like internal sun within our actual Earth then. Which I don't know if I go that far, but there would definitely be something else though, I think, because I've always thought about Hollow Earth theory and stuff like that before, and it's like the way I looked at it was essentially kind of like that show Sanctuary in the, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd season of that, when they had a bunch of people come up from the Hollow Earth. That's what it was there, and it would essentially just be like a functioning society in like some caverns underground in the actual middle of the Earth. Essentially, is what would be there. So I don't know if I go as far as to say there's like a Garden of Eden in there with like a actual secondary sun or something like that. That'd be kind of a little bit, you know, wackadoo if that be the case, but who knows? Maybe. You know, I tend to go more of the storyline of like, who's to say Adam and Eve were actually the first people? Who's to say there weren't like the 8th or 9th couple that was a thing between between God and Lucifer, where it was Lucifer trying to corrupt 10 couples or whatever the case be, and having him, you know, if he could do that, he would have God let him back into heaven if that be the case, or something. And he was able to do it with 8, and then Adam and Eve for the 9th, maybe, or something like that. And the reason I say that specifically is because you had that other stuff come out over the centuries and things like that, where it was one of Adam and Eve's sons, actually, when he was like 10 or 12, met other people out and about. And technically it was supposed to be just the 4 of them were the actual humans at the time. So the fact that he met other humans or humanoids or whatever it was then is very telling. And it would make more sense if you go to that storyline than I'm thinking up right now, which would be, you know, the whole Adam and Eve were not the first people. It would be others before them. And they were also cast out because of the same deal, because they, you know, ate the forbidden fruits, what it would be then. So who knows? Just something to think about, honestly. Not trying to rewrite history or anything like that, or revisionist history or anything like that, but just like interesting theory, I think is what it is. So that being said, like I said, we'll be back tonight for Stand Your Ground Saturday #2. I'm going to drop links to some people in the Discord in the next 15 minutes or so that may want to jump in on that. It'll be most likely like just like last week, directly after NEA's Saturday chat there. So it'll be 10:30, 10:45 whenever it finishes up there. It'll be someplace in there. Probably, I'm guessing no later than 11 o'clock, honestly. That's the way I'll put it right there. And it'll be a situation where as long as I'm awake, it'll go on. So, if you don't hear from me by I would say 10 o'clock, or you don't see me in the chats or anything else like that, just assume I'm not going to be part of that is what it is. So, but yeah, I'm going to try to do some things here this morning is what it'll be. And then I'm going to go probably take a nap this afternoon then. And then I'll be hopefully rested enough to do that. Then that'll be the case then. So, but other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I will be back again later tonight with the next Stand Your Ground Saturday. And then we will come back sometime Monday or Tuesday for another Grandstand, probably, depending on what's going on. And then we'll obviously, as long as next Friday I'm feeling good, we'll be doing Freedom Friday again then. And then obviously Buckshot Thursday as well, for that matter. So, we'll always have something new coming on here is what it is. And hopefully, fingers crossed, all things going good, I will have a functioning AR-15 it is, because my cousin's helping me out with that right now, and hopefully he'll have that build completely done for me pretty quick here is what it is then. So, anyway, if that be the case, then I'm definitely going to test fire that motherfucker a couple times then. Make sure that barrel I got, or the upper I got Team Tactical a couple years ago is still functioning right. And then loop the shit out of it is what it'll be. But anyway, it'll be nice to actually have something functioning for once then. But other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.